Be more of a high level look intro video to the ARV training. So I'm actually in the process of revamping the training a little bit. It used to be a lot more videos, but I got rid of a lot of them because the MLS has changed recently and how we're doing our comping has changed. So just revamping the training a little bit. And in this training, I want to go over just a high level look at the MLS. So when you log into the MLS, you're going to come to here, and then obviously you're going to click the matrix, and it'll bring you to our search page. So the first thing I want to go over is I want to go over the criteria page and then the mapping page. So we've got these two tabs here and then our results. So our criteria is, first of all, I'm going to pull up a property. So let's say I've got this property that I know is listed in the MLS, and I think it's a sold that we're looking at. And so let me get this down a little bit, pull it up. I just want to get a property pulled up. So Sheridan. So here's our property. All right. So the first thing I want to do is when I pull up a property, I'm going to draw the neighborhood out. So let me go over the Denver metro area. So this is where we do the majority of our business here in the Denver metro area. So as you zero down on the city, you'll see these blocks. These blocks are neighborhoods, okay? And so if we're comping a property, let's say in here, we're typically drawing a block in this square here, all right? If we are in this neighborhood here, we are usually drawing a block here. This will, for the most part, throughout the city, will work in most neighborhoods, okay? Now, as you get to know the city better, like when you get down to downtown, maybe over here, the blocks don't work as well when you get into here. We don't do a lot of stuff downtown Denver. This is downtown Denver where the streets kind of go sideways. But for the most part, blocks, you can see the block of the neighborhood. Like if we're looking at this house here, then we want to draw the square right here. All right. Now, this example I pulled up down here that I'm going to draw a block around is a little more tricky, but you can see the major streets. So we typically stay within the major streets, and we would draw the block here. Now, we do not try to pass busy streets. So unless you're really starving for comps, I'd go out here, or I'd pass this Fremont Street and get down here. If you really are looking for more comps, that's fine. But we don't like to pass major highways. So this 470, I-25, 225. We don't want to go like, let me get rid of that one square over here. Let's say I'm looking at a property right here. I don't want to go across the highway. This is going to be a different market over here than it is right here. We want to stay on this side of the highway with our square. Same would go with like the busy streets, like this Colorado Boulevard. If I have a comp that's right here, I typically want to stay in this neighborhood. I don't want to go, this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to go across the busy street and look at comps over here because a lot of times these markets are going to be different than this one. Busy streets will define a neighborhood's values a lot of times. They'll properties in here are worth different than these properties over here because Colorado Boulevard is kind of dividing line. So your major streets, you can see them like Dry Creek, Colorado Boulevard, University. You can see them kind of drawing the bigger white lines straight, straight roads on the map. Now, the more yellow, the more the bigger the roads. So these yellow ones are more or less highways. So like Arapahoe Road isn't really a highway, but it's a really, really busy street. So I-25 is a vast highway. It's like 4 lanes, 8 lanes, both sides. It could be 10 lanes now. I haven't really counted the lanes. It's huge. It's huge. All right. So same goes with 470 and I-70. So we'll talk about also drawing boundaries So typically we're in these neighborhoods and we're trying to just define the neighborhood around the house. If you are comping a property on a busy street, let's say we're comping a property on University, we typically will draw the market on that busy street. So we only want to comp properties on the University. Typically, that's how we comp busy street properties. Same goes for highway properties. So when you get over here to I-25, 470, 425, and I-70, these major arteries of the city, if you are comping a property, typically they try to have commercial up against these major highways. But let's say we're comping a property right here. This highway right here is humming 24 hours a day, just roaring. Okay, so these properties right here are less desirable than the properties over in this neighborhood. In fact, if you're comping a property that's within about 3 blocks of the highway, so even a property over here, you want to keep. You'll quickly see if the values in here are less than the values over here because they can hear that highway all the time. That makes that highway those properties less desirable and the less in price. So when we're comping properties next to highways, we're drawing like a rectangle around that highway so we can keep within the properties within the distance of this highway. We're looking at these properties here. These properties over here are going to be worth more than these over here against 25. So, anyways, let me see. So that would be the same as I-70, 225, I-25. Those major arteries. Those are different markets up against those highways. Okay. Same goes with busy streets. If I'm looking at a property that's on Colfax, for example, or sides of Colfax, I typically want to find other comps that are along Colfax or some other busy street. So let's say I'm over here and I got a property right here. I'm comping this property. I can use comps on Colfax and Colorado Boulevard. If we can't find comps, I'll talk about in other videos how we can draw value from for these comps inside the neighborhood, but we significantly discount a property that is up against a busy street. It's less desirable. Not only are you hearing the traffic all day long, but the traffic of people up and down the street is less desirable. You have riffraff and homeless people and all kinds of stuff trampling around your property. It's not as desirable as when you are tucked away in a safe little nice quiet neighborhood. Okay, so that is the overview of how to draw out neighborhoods. And let me finish this thought by doing our criteria, how we're doing it currently. So this is the property I'm going to comp out. This is the neighborhood I'm going to draw out. All right, so going into criteria, this is my address. So we're looking at solds no more than 90 days. This is a single family house, so we'll click on that. And I'll put in the square footage range. So this house is 3,600 square foot. So I would put in a square foot range of like 3,000 to 4,000. This square footage range will be different depending on the house, and I'll put that in the notes in our price or our offer making guide of kind of the different square footage ranges we use depending on the size of the house. If this was an 800 square foot house, we would put in a different square footage range. Okay, so anyways, and then I get rid of this address, and then this would pull up the different comps that I could use. So this, I could select that, and that will get into the results tab over here. And then I would have my different comps that I could start valuing with. So how we do single family homes and draw out single family home condo or single family home neighborhoods is different than how we draw out condo and townhouse neighborhoods. So let's say, for example, I just want to finish this up with drawing out neighborhoods. Let me pull up a condo property that we want to look at. want to start a new search, I just go up here to search, click residential, and it zeroes it all out and it starts over. This is the way that I do every new search, because if you put in any of this stuff and you leave it in there, it'll kind of mess up your search criteria next time. So just reset the whole search by going up here to search and hitting residential, and that will reset that. So let me pull up a property that is a condo. I'm going to be comping out, and I'm going to zero down on this. So we're not drawing this big, huge neighborhood square around this. We're really wanting to pull properties within the complex itself. This is not a great example, but we can probably, because we want to be in here. So we definitely want to be here, and I'd want to take a look at these first. So let me just see what we come up with on this one first. That I'd use in condos is a little bit different. We're still doing 90 days out, but I don't click any of this. I don't click any of the property type because we've zeroed down on the complex itself. So everything in here is going to be a condo, and I shy away from clicking condo because a lot of times agents don't classify condos and townhouses correctly. And so if I clicked on condo, a lot of times that results will go down because somebody classified it as something else. Sometimes they'll classify it as a multifamily or townhouse, or they'll just do it wrong. And so don't click on any of it. You've already got the complex selected. All right. So, and then I don't typically do square footage unless I got a ton of results. I only have 4 results to work off of in this complex. And so I would start here. And if I still needed some more comps, it looked like there's some other buildings over here that I could start to look at. And then I could start looking at comps in some of these others. These might be industrial. I don't know what these are. So it looks like we might have some stuff over here we can also look at, but I'd start here and see if I can find a comp in here that will work. If I can't, then I have no choice to go out a little bit or go out on date, right? So let me see if I can find one more condo. And we'll take a peek at that. So instead of like working within this search criteria right here, just go in here and zero this whole thing out. If you're moving on to a new property, zero this out, and that'll clear everything out, and you can be able to start over. So let me move into a different complex. So this is a really big complex here that we do buy a lot of properties. It's a age restricted retirement home type area. And so if I'm looking at this property, for example, and I want to make an offer on this one, then I want to keep my comps within this complex. All right. So same goes with, and that's a retirement community. If I'm looking at this property over here, this townhouse, for example, I am looking at drawing a square around this complex. And then if I need to expand out because I need more comps, then I would go, there we go. Then I'd go over here, or I'd even move it across Yale and pick up these over here. So these are complexes, right? But I would try to find my comp within that specific complex first, and then move it into other complexes. But you see how that's vastly different than neighborhoods. Like these over here, well, these are townhouse. Are these single family? So these are single family houses over here. We don't comp single family homes to condos or townhouses. We stick, if it's a condo, we comp to that complex of that condo. If it's a townhouse, we comp to that complex for that condo.